Hookah 101 presented by hookahforlife.com. Ignite your journey. Alright, so today we're going to talk about what makes up a hookah, and I'm going to go over three very important topics on how to have a perfect session. We're going to talk about the air to water ratio, packing the perfect bowl, and getting the perfect hole formation. All these key components will give you the best session with the thickest clouds and the funnest time smoking hookah. The first part of the hookah we are going to talk about is the base. When choosing a base, we want to choose function over design. We want a base that has depth and is sturdy. Avoid tall, skinny hookahs that are easy to knock over and skinny-necked, wide, shallow bases that don't give you smoke volume. Also avoid any solid colored bases that you can't see through so that you can find the water line. The next part of the hookah is the stem. The stem should be made of quality material and has excellent clean wells. Also, make sure that the down stem is the proper length to fit the base shape. From the stem, we'll go to the tray. For a tray, you want to make sure that you have a nice lip to it. I would avoid really flat ones because you do need the ash on here. Next is the hookah bowl. There are many shapes and designs for the hookah bowl. We prefer traditional style hookah bowls that are made out of clay or ceramic. Silicone or glass bowls are also acceptable, but I would avoid any metal bowls. Next is the hose. You want a very nice hose. It doesn't hurt to put a little extra money in these hoses and also have more than one because they are the first things to wear out on your hookah. You want a very long hose so that you can have a good reach, and that way you can prevent any spillages or knocking over of the coals. No one likes a burnt rug. Also, I like long handles. Typically gives it a smoother smoke. And another important thing to look over is having a wide gauge mouth. That allows you to have easier pulls and bigger hits. After that, we have our tongs. I always suggest getting 2 tongs, one for tobacco and one for coals. And get a tong with a poker on there, a really nice sharp one, so you can poke those holes. Tobacco or toothpicks and nails also work very well. And the last piece is a windscreen. I suggest getting one of these. They're excellent for getting the hookah started, and if you ever go outdoors, it's a great way to protect your heat source so it can stay on top of the bowl so you can get a good session. And those are all the main parts you need for your hookah. Additional pieces that you'll need are foil. You just get any basic foil from your store. Lighter, tobacco, and charcoal. I prefer quick lit charcoals. Easier and provide a hotter source. Those are all the pieces that you need for traditional style hookah. So first start with your base, fill it up with water, and then once you do that, take your stem, attach it to your base, then grab your hose and attach it to your stem, like that. After that, grab your tray, set it on top. Grab your bowl, set that on top on the head. Take a coal or your tongs, stick it right on top of the tray like that. And then the last part is the windscreen if you need one. And that goes right on top of the bowl. And then that's your assembly, and it should be all good to go. Alright, so we're going to talk about number 1 of the 3 main things you need to know about having a perfect hookah session. And that is finding the air to water ratio. This is often the first place that I go to when encountering any problems with a bad session. And often the first place everyone makes a mistake at. Now what I like to do when trying to find the perfect air to water ratio is to look at my base and see how it's designed. I know that I have a wide base here. A great way to do this is to kind of eye it up. One way to eye it up is you want to just align your stem to where it's going to connect to the base. Now with a large hookah like this, I know typically the water is going to be around an inch and a half. So based on how deep your base is, it's going to kind of give you an idea. So looking at this, I can kind of tell, eyeing it up, that my water level is going to be just about here. So this gives me a quick, good eye up of where I'm going to start pouring the water, and from there I can do tests to see if I need more water or less water in order to have the perfect session. Alright, so I filled up my base to where I eyed up where the water should be. Now a quick way to test out if this is a good spot for you is to take your stem and attach it and suck through the stem holes real quick. You want to hear that deep bubble. I could also do is put my hand over the head of the bowl listen feel that for strong suction, knowing that if I have really good strong suction there, that I had achieved the perfect ratio for me in order to have large amounts of smoke and enough water to give a deep hole. Alright, number 2 of the 3 things you need to know in order to have the perfect session, and that is packing the perfect bowl. Packing the perfect bowl will define how your smoking session will turn out. If it's packed too tightly, it will cause it to be hard to pull air through, which will also burn the top of the tobacco and make it really harsh and not very good session. If it's too loose, it'll burn out the tobacco very quickly and be very nasty at that. So you want to make sure you pack this perfectly in order to have an excellent session. And trust me, it does matter. Alright, so now we're going to pack the bowl. As you remember in the beginning, I did mention about getting 2 tongs. The reason I say get 2 tongs is because I prefer to use one just for packing the tobacco and one for the coal. Otherwise, when you handle wet tongs and use the coals, it will definitely build up a residue and become pretty disgusting to use. So always get 2, otherwise if you're comfortable using your hands, go ahead and use your hands. But I prefer to use the tongs. So what I like to do is first grab the hookah tobacco, the C-shell. I'm going to take it out of the container. Just shake it up a little bit, get the juices a little going. Take it out, stir it around a little bit. Now the first thing you want to do is make sure you break up the tobacco as much as you can. This will give you this will allow you to be able to pinch it little bit by little bit to fill up the tobacco without large clumps. We want to keep it loose but firm. Alright, so let's go ahead and take a little bit at a time here. Start placing it into the bowl. Now when you're filling up the tobacco bowl, or the hookah bowl, you want to make sure that you're not overfilling. Overfilling can definitely ruin the session, make it hard to smoke, and take forever to burn the tobacco. You'll also always get that wet tobacco at the bottom that was untouched. And that's because of bad packing. So you want to go little bit by little bit, layering it evenly across. So once I get the bottom there, I'll be able to go ahead and start working my way up. Definitely keep an eye on how it's going. I always like to do is set my tongs at the top of the bowl like this. This will allow me to see that I haven't reached the top, and that makes sure that way I can stay on the inside of the top of the bowl. And that's the perfect place to fill up your tobacco so that it burns evenly and thoroughly. Alright, so that's perfect to me. I packed it lightly but firmly and pinch by pinch so that I can have an even burn. And let's do the tong test. As you can see, it doesn't touch. It's perfect, we're good to go. Alright, last but most important, it's number 3, the perfect hole formation. Now this is kind of a rite of passage in the hookah world. Having a perfect hole formation will provide an even smooth burn with easy airflow. And this will definitely affect how your hookah session will turn out. Now, I have a patented hole formation that I'd like to show you and be happy for you to show anybody else. This is something that I came up with over the years and I find it very effective. First I like to start by grabbing the bowl and using the tin foil. I like to do shiny side down. This will block in the heat. Place the foil over the bowl like this and wrap it around. Give it a nice tight seal like that. And then I like to smoothen it up on top, giving it a nice firm seal. It's important to get no air gaps in there so that the air is only coming from the top. So now you can either use the poker that comes with your tongs if you have a really good one. You want a very sharp pointed end. Or sometimes you can use a toothpick or a nail, whatever you have around that's best and sharp. Because the pointier the better. So I always like to start when poking the hole is to go straight down the middle. And right through the hole that's in the middle of that poke. After that, I like to poke holes across, like a T-shape, then circular, and then 1 on the edges, and 3 around, giving a circular pattern. Now, if you do this, it definitely will give you the best session. Trust me, I've tried many different ways of doing it, and this is the best I've had. Alright guys, we got the hookah fully set up now. Found a perfect air to water ratio, and here I got some lemons in there to add a little extra flavor. Check out my website, hookahforlife.com, and check out the Base Enhancer article to find some new fun tricks to do in there. I packed the perfect bowl with the perfect hole formation. 3 very important things. And the last thing that I like to share with you guys that every master should know is that they should always stretch out their hose and blow out any debris that's left up in there from last time you smoked the session. Doing this will prevent any nasty little shots in your mouth, and that can be very discouraging when you smoke. After that, you're all set. Alright guys, I'm going to start getting the hookah going here. I put on the wind cover just to get it heated up and ready to go. And it should be good to go here. As you see, you got some smooth hits going here. And I can really taste the lemon in the bottom of that, complementing the tobacco. And now that I'm good to go, I can probably take off my windscreen here, so I really don't need it anymore. Another important thing is the role of the host or whoever is in control of their hookah. You should always, one, if you're in a carpeted area, have a tray. The tray will help catch off any accidental knockoffs of the charcoal, if it breaks or anything like that, to help prevent any burns to your carpet or hardwood floor. What I'd like to share with you guys, when smoking the hookah, especially if it's your first time, don't hit it so hard. Remember to breathe naturally. A lot of people don't realize how much smoke is coming in. Smoke is being gently vapored by the coal and being cooled down by the water. So you want to make sure just breathe in naturally and take your time, and don't put it in your stomach. You will get sick off of it, but it will give you a nice head buzz. A little description about maintaining your coals. Typically this falls on the host job or whoever owns the hookah should maintain the hookah. What I like to do is when you see it getting gray, take it off and start ashing it off. And as your session's going, rotate the coals around little bit by little bit around the bowl. You don't want to do it too often, but do it after you ash it. Just move it a little bit around to give a nice even burn to the tobacco. Alright guys, we got the hookah all good and ready to go. I'd just like to share one last thing about Hookah for Life's philosophy. It's more than a smoking device to us. The real meaning to it is about the ones you share and that you share and bond with while smoking the hookah. So always make sure to have loved one with you while you're smoking the hookah. And that is the perfect session. For more information on the hookah lifestyle, visit hookahforlife.com for tutorials, buyer's guide, tips and tricks, and much, much more.